Morning everyone, I hope you're well. I just wanted to make a plug for autumn sowing. I know it's a bit counterintuitive, it's getting colder and it's the end of the summer and we're all ready to sort of hunker down, but I promise you, if you can sow some seeds, particularly of the kind of hardy annuals and some perennials actually now, then next year you will have whopper plants that will be ready to flower a little bit earlier, and they'll be stronger and bigger, and it's also one less thing to do in the spring. For me, if you're obsessed like me with sowing stuff, there's always so many different varieties that I want to get in, and if I do a few now, it kind of takes that mad rush of the spring off. So it feels like there's a bit more time to do it, and also it's just quite nice to be able to nurture something over the winter. It's not for everyone, I know, especially if you don't have, if you've got a cold frame or a greenhouse, a broken old greenhouse like mine, or a conservatory where there's lots of light. That's what you really need if you're going to do autumn sowing, because you don't really want to be doing it on a windowsill. They'll get leggy, desperate to reach the light, and they'll sort of be a bit too weak, I think. So it's best to, if you can do it, or if you've got like a little cold frame or something like that, that would be the best thing. And now's a really good time because the ground is still warm. There's still a lot of moisture in the air. There's a lot of light still. You're still getting sort of 10 hours a day sunlight, which is what, healthy plants need. So there's still time, obviously this month, so end of September, I'm going to be sowing things like Amimajus, because if you sow them now, honestly, next year the plants are so much bigger and more robust, and will flower earlier and for longer. Really, really great. They could literally be 6 foot high. Incredible. The other thing I'm sowing is cornflowers, because they're really good, both of which are really, really hardy. So you're not going to need to worry necessarily about, the frost. You will want to keep them under cover, but they'll be all right as long as they form quite sort of healthy seedlings before it gets really cold. Then they should be perfectly fine to overwinter under glass or in a cold frame, and then come the spring you'll be able to plant them out. You probably pot them on once. We'll probably pot them on, sort of beginning of the year, next year, once. But otherwise, they're fairly low maintenance. You don't really need to do very much. So I'm going to do cornflowers, Amimajus. The other really good one to do is snapdragons. And then what else? I'll probably be doing a last sowing of winter lettuce leaves, because there's still time to get those in and growing and get them in the ground. Try and choose, as often varieties with kind of snow in the name or something are the ones that are the really best ones for winter. Spinach is a really good one for getting in the ground. Get kale in the ground now. But I've got my seed tray, and I just thought I'd start. You've seen me sow seeds so many times. I'm actually using a 40 cell tray this time, and I've just filled it with peat-free compost, and I've got this is Amimajus Graceland. So they're quite big seeds actually. I tend to make a little hole. I haven't watered this compost. I just make a little hole with my finger like that, or with a pen. Some people have smart dippers. I used to have one, but I don't know where it's gone. So just make a nice sort of indentation in the compost, and then literally bring them out. You can see they're quite small, but not too tiny. And then if you've got a long enough fingernail, just grab one like that in the fingernail and drop it in, and keep doing that. Can you see me? Keep doing that. I got this tip from Zoe at Swan Cottage, who does it like this, and it's really good because it just means then that you're sowing one seed per cell. Don't worry if you don't, but ideally if you sow one seed per cell, it means less pricking out, and oh god, the seeds are blowing away. Less pricking out and less fussing around. You can always split them out should you have sown 2 by mistake into 1 or 3 even. You can always prick them out at a later date, but it's just quite a good way of doing it. And then what I'm going to do, so I'm going to carry on like that with the AMI, and then I'm going to do some cornflowers, and then don't water from above. So actually what I'll do, I'll just show you. You just want to make sure that the compost is covered, the seeds are covered with the compost slightly. And so you can either just tap it like that, you see, or just, firm it over. Don't water from above. Put the whole tray, once you finish the whole tray, and you might not want to do a full tray of AMI, you might want to do half AMI, half cornflour. Put them in a tray of water and just let them soak up the water from the bottom, and then label them, very important, and you put them in your greenhouse if you've got one, or in a cold frame. You don't even need to cover them at this time of year because there is enough light, there's enough warmth to sort of, for the compost to stay quite moist as well. There's enough moisture in the air. So yeah, don't worry about covering them. You can put a lid on if you want, but it's not necessary. And then they should germinate in about 2 to 3 weeks. And just leave them growing in these cells until the root ball has literally filled the cell, and that will they'll take quite a long time because obviously it's winter, but by sort of early next year we should be able to pop them on into a slightly larger pot, grow them on a bit, and then plant them out into the garden. And honestly, it's nice actually to have something to nurture over the winter as well, and to see little seedlings instead of just looking at bare ground everywhere. Go into your greenhouse or look in your cold frame every day and you see signs of life, and it's really uplifting. It's really nice to have that over the winter. So I hope that's helpful. There are other things. Obviously sweet peas will be a big one for October, so I'm going to be doing my sweet peas in October, and I'll do another vid for that. But yeah, there are things that you can do now to get the gardening year underway. All right, speak to you later. Bye.